The crimson sands of Vextar Prime stretched endlessly beneath the pale green sky, broken only by the massive alien war camp that had sprouted like a metallic infection across the desert floor. From her concealed position atop a rocky outcrop, 3 kilometers away, Elsa adjusted her scope and studied the enemy through the crosshairs of her modified rail rifle. Confirmed visual on the target, she whispered into her comm unit, her breath barely disturbing the desert air. Warlord Kethvash is in the central pavilion, surrounded by his honor guard. On the other end of the transmission, Helen's voice crackled with static from the orbital command station. Copy that, Elsa. The entire Zephyrian fleet is watching. This through their sensors. They're placing bets on whether you'll actually take the shot. Elsa's lips curved into a cold smile. The Zephyrians had allied themselves with humanity only reluctantly, after their own fleets had been decimated by the brutal Vexenari Empire. They respected human tactical prowess but doubted human precision. To them, engaging an enemy at 3 kilometers with a single projectile weapon seemed like primitive madness. Let them watch, Elsa replied, her finger hovering over the trigger. They're about to learn why humans dominated their homeworld's food chain. Through her scope, she observed Warlord Kethvash, a towering brute standing nearly 4 meters tall, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming with ceremonial battle scars. The Vexenari leader was addressing his troops, his mandibles clicking in their harsh language as he gestured toward the distant human settlement they planned to obliterate at dawn. The alien warlord had made a crucial mistake. He stood in one place too long. Elsa's breathing slowed, her heartbeat steadying into the rhythm she'd perfected through years of training. The desert wind picked up, and she automatically adjusted for windage, her enhanced neural implants calculating trajectory with inhuman precision. But the true skill, the patience, the timing, the killer instinct that was purely human. Elsa, Helen's voice came through again, more urgent now. Zephyrian Admiral Kextar just transmitted. He's offering odds of 50 to 1 against you making the shot. Says no organic being could possibly. Tell the Admiral to keep watching, Elsa interrupted, her voice steady as stone. She'd been born on humanity's frontier worlds where survival meant mastering the art of the long hunt. While the galaxy's other species had evolved for close combat or technological warfare, humans had spent millennia perfecting the ability to kill from impossible distances. It was a skill that had taken them from hurling spears at mammoths to placing bullets with surgical precision across kilometers of hostile terrain. The Vexenari had learned to fear human technology, human tactics, even human tenacity, but they had never truly understood what made humans different. The predators, patience combined with an engineer's precision. Kethvash raised his primary arms, shouting something that made his troops roar in bloodthirsty approval. The sound carried across the desert like thunder, but Elsa remained motionless, her world narrowed to the perfect circle of her scope. 3 kilometers. The alien officers around the Warlord would dismiss such a distance as impossible for projectile weapons. Energy weapons scattered and lost power. Missiles could be intercepted, but a single perfectly placed kinetic round, that was humanity's signature. Range confirmed at 3,000 meters, Elsa murmured. Wind factor compensated, gravity differential calculated. Her finger tightened on the trigger. 1 shot. Through her earpiece, she could hear Helen coordinating with the Zephyrian fleet, their excited chatter in their musical language, creating a strange counterpoint to the deadly silence of the desert. Warlord Kethvash stepped forward, his massive frame perfectly centered in Elsa's crosshairs. For a moment he stood motionless, savoring what he believed would be his moment of triumph. Elsa exhaled slowly, her heartbeat dropping to its lowest point between beats. She fired. The rail rifle's discharge was barely a whisper, a technology humans had perfected specifically for long-range assassination. The hypersonic projectile crossed 3 kilometers of hostile air in less than a second, invisible to the naked eye, and nearly undetectable to most sensors. Through her scope, Elsa watched Warlord Kethvash's head simply disappear. One moment he stood triumphant before his army, the next his headless body toppled backward into the crimson sand. The reaction was immediate and devastating. The Vexnari troops erupted into chaos, their carefully maintained discipline shattering like glass. Officers screamed orders in their clicking language, but without their warlord's telepathic command presence, the army began to fragment. Helen's voice exploded through the comm with barely contained excitement. Confirmed kill. Elsa, the entire Vexnari command structure is collapsing. Their fleet is already beginning to retreat. But it was Admiral Kextar's transmission that brought Elsa the most satisfaction. The Zephyrian commander's melodic voice was filled with something approaching awe. By the sacred void, the human succeeded. 3 kilometers with a single projectile. How is this possible? Elsa shouldered her rifle and began her withdrawal, knowing that human reinforcements would arrive to mop up the scattered alien forces. As she moved through the rocky terrain with practiced stealth, she activated her comm one final time. "Admiral Kextar," she said, her voice carrying across the tactical channel to the Zephyrian fleet above. "This is how humans have always hunted. We find our prey, we wait for the perfect moment, and then we make one shot count. We've been perfecting this art for 50,000 years, long before we ever dreamed of reaching the stars." She paused at the edge of the cliff, looking back at the chaos she'd created with a single pull of her trigger. The mighty Vexnari war machine, which had terrorized a dozen star systems, was crumbling because one human had done what humans did best: deliver death with cold precision from an impossible distance. "Tell your admirals," Elsa added with quiet pride. "That's why they call us apex predators." The aliens watched in silent awe as one human, with one perfectly placed shot, had ended a war.